What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Ready to Love: The Last Resort. This is the season finale. We have been waiting a long time for this to happen, and let's go ahead and recap this episode. So we start the episode off with the leftovers that are still there. They're just sitting around talking, and it's interesting that Khalfani was sitting there talking about how I thought it was going to be 6 people left. Like, sir, who was going to be the 6? Because you already knew that you did not want Denise and she was going to be going home. But whatever. So, of course, we now know that the families are coming in town, and this is when the couples, they get to prove to their family that there are some real feelings there. So Adriana, she mentions that her dad is actually a pastor as well as a therapist. So Rashid and Khalfani definitely have their work cut out for them because he's going to be asking all the hard questions. So in the next scene, we actually see Adriana and Rashid. They're having a conversation on the couch, and Rashid is just feeling like, at this point, Adriana, you should be making a decision. He does not feel like he should be chasing her. And I agree with him. At this point in the game, why is he still chasing and competing to be with Adriana? Like, I don't think that her decision is that hard. I feel like she just wanted to string him along just because. So when they're having this conversation, he's like, you've always been my number one this entire time. I just want to know where I stand. And of course, she does the same thing that she always does. Adriana is talking about how, with you, I feel comfortable and I feel safe, and not saying that safe is a bad thing. And I'm like, who has ever said that feeling safe is a bad thing? If anything, that's what you should want. You should want to feel safe with a man. You should also be feeling like there's some stability there, and I feel like that is what is there with Rashid, because you can actually tell that when he looks at Adriana, when he hugs Adriana, he really likes her. But when you actually pay attention to what Adriana does, she is very distant to me from Rashid. But anyways, she also tells him that, Khalfani is basically uncharted waters, and that, she just feels like he's kind of like the unknown. It's unexpected with him. And I'm just like, well, if you feel that way and you feel like that's the path that you should go on, you should go ahead and let Rashid go. Literally, she could have let Rashid go so long ago, at least a good 3 episodes ago, because she put so much effort into Khalfani and she never had to put in any type of effort with Rashid. Rashid always took initiative when it came to Adriana. So he basically decides that he's going to, stick with Adriana and just see where this goes. And we all know where this situation went. So in our next scene, we have Winter. She is meeting with her sister Keisha, and it's crazy how their voices were so similar. And also just looking at her and her sister, you can tell that they were related. They're going to sit out, have a little chat with Anthony. And I'm sorry, but Anthony is so goofy to me. It's just at a certain point, when did the jokes stop? There's just something about his personality that I just do not care for. So we learned that Anthony was raised in the church, I guess, some type of Baptist church. And then we also have Winter's sister, asking him, had he ever been in love? And he said no, because his first love was football. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you have not played football in 8 years. So within those 8 years, what have you been doing? And I'm not saying that he needed to be in a relationship. I'm not saying any of that. But honestly, when I look at Anthony, he's not the type of guy that I would date, just because, again, like I said, I find him to be very goofy, and some of his mannerisms and the way that his facial expressions would get on my nerves. But he just seems like he's so guarded and like as if someone hurt him before. And I just feel like Winter, he is just not right. I'm sorry. Winter can do much better than Anthony. So when Winter's sister, Keisha, asked him about marriage, his response was like, yeah, I'm just taking things step by step, seeing where it goes. I'm like, Winter, you need to run, okay? Because he is not the guy that you want. He clearly still just wants to hang out with people. That's all he wants to do. Maybe marriage is not in the cards for Anthony, because I just feel like at this point, you're saying that you are interested in Winter. She seems to be the type of woman that you really want to be with. And when marriage comes on the table, your response is, step by step. Sir, your response should have been like, I know in the past I, didn't really get into that involved in relationships, but now I am really focused on building something with someone, and I can see marriage in the future. Because at this point, I don't feel like he's the type of guy who's going to get married. Like, I just feel like he enjoys being single, and he came on this show just to, boost his probably Instagram following, and that's going to be that. I just don't see it for them as a couple. So after he leaves, Winter's sister, she did like Anthony. She felt like he was funny and fun, but she did tell her sister to watch out because he said that he's never been in love before, and I just feel like Anthony has commitment issues. Just saying. So we next see Adriana. She's meeting with Khalfani's family, and okay, I just have to say that Adriana, she really does play up this sweet, innocent girl who's like, has the perfect, sweet, bubbly personality, and she never means any harm. And I'm just like, okay, you're about to play this up, girl. So when she meets his family and they ask her, why'd you like Khalfani? And her response was that, like, oh, because, a lot of women liked him. And I'm like, okay, so the reason why you liked him was because other women found him attractive? So this was all a competition to you. Like, you just wanted to be the girl who got the guy that everyone wanted. Yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, Adriana. So Khalfani's family, they did like Adriana. They felt like she had really positive energy. And while that conversation was happening, though, we did see Rashid have a conversation with his sister. This conversation did happen via FaceTime because he felt like, I only bring women to meet my family when we are in a serious relationship, which is something I can absolutely respect, because why am I bringing you around the people I care about the most if we not really together? So, he lets his sister know that he does like Adriana, but at the same time, he does not want to chase Adriana anymore. Like, he wants, them to care about each other and be interested in each other, and for her to make a decision. And his sister is like, go with your gut feeling, because your gut has never steered you wrong. So, and I wish he would have gone on with his gut, so that way he could have went home a couple of episodes ago instead of wasting his time with Adriana. But anyways, he did end up asking his sister, like, well, do you want to meet her? They could have just had it over FaceTime. And his sister was like, not really. I don't want to meet her. Because I feel like his sister was playing nice because of the cameras. But I really feel like had there not been cameras, his sister probably would have been like, no, you don't need to chase her. Let her go be with whatever that other guy is, because at the end of the day, my brother is a prize. My brother, he is a good catch. And honestly, Rashid was probably the best catch that this season had. So we next see Anthony and his sister. His sister's really beautiful, and they're just talking about Winter. And she's like, I've never seen you like this, really be this interested in a woman the way he is about Winter. And she finally meets Winter. I will say, like, the way that his sister and Winter was throwing back those compliments, I'm like, y'all could have had something going on and left Anthony in the dust. But anyways, Winter, she is answering the questions, and she also had questions for Anthony's sister, and she's just like, how has he been with basically other women? And his sister said a few things that were red flags to me. Like the fact that she said that a few of his relationships, she couldn't call them relationships because they were basically just friends for a long time. So I'm like, oh, okay, so he just was in elongated friends with benefits types of relationships. Okay, cool. Then his sister also brought up the fact that he was always just single, seriously single. And I'm like, there is something going on with that story that is not, I don't know. Like, I just feel like there are some things that need to be revealed about Anthony. Even in his confessional, he was like, oh, no one's going to rush me. You can't rush me to, like, fall in love, I guess. And I completely understand that. No one's trying to rush you. But damn it, there's no way that I'm going to, be talking to a guy for a couple of weeks, a couple of months. Then we decide that we're going to start, dating each other. Well, exclusively dating each other. And then years go by and there's no wedding, there's no nothing. Like, I'm sorry, that ain't gonna work for me. And the thing about it with Anthony, we don't even know if they even get to a committed relationship, because I know that he said he's never been in love. But now at this point, I feel like we need to ask, how long was Anthony's longest relationship? Because it sounds like his longest relationship has been a friends with benefits type of situation. And if that's the case, throw him back, girl. Winter, you deserve better. Winter is saying that she's ready to take on the responsibility to be Anthony's first love, but honestly, I feel like she's just talking because she can do so much better than Anthony. And I feel like Anthony, he's not interested in any of the women that were here, or relationships are just not his thing. I also feel like Winter, she really needs to stop setting up this idea that, she can be Anthony's first love and they can grow into all these things, when he's basically telling you that this is going to be one of probably the slowest processes you've ever been through, because according to him, nobody's going to push him to do anything that he doesn't want to do. Also, I will say that after Winter walked away and Anthony was just talking to his sister, something about Anthony's energy, it's a bit on the feminine side. That's all I'm going to say there. And we're going to leave it at that. I feel like that also may be a reason why he hasn't had all these relationships. But, that's just, I'm just going to let that man live in his truth. All right, you guys, and now we see Rashid and Adriana. Rashid is trying to self-eliminate. He's trying to, be an adult about this entire situation. He just wants Adriana to know that at this point, they've been there for 8 weeks. There's nothing more that he can do, like, another date or anything else that could possibly make her, change her mind about who she wants to be with. So if she's choosing Khalfani, please just go ahead and let him know now, so that way he can move on with his life. Oh no, Adriana is like, well, I wouldn't want you to give up on me and blase blah. So she's like, because I'm still here and I still want you to be here. And I'm like, Adriana, you are BSing this man. You are full of it. Like, she knew that she was not going to choose Rashid. She already knew this weeks ago. I feel like she just wanted to make this linger on for as long as she could. And she's sitting up here playing like as if she's this sweet, innocent girl, when she is not. Like, I'm sorry, we have seen her be conniving and vindictive with that whole Rashid and Denise narcissism situation. We have also seen her be just very rude, but she does it on the slick so nobody pays attention to it, because at the end of the day, that episode where Denise and Khalfani, they were playing pool and she came by and she took him from her, that was very rude. Because at the end of the day, it's not like she went to go just mention something to him and then he came back to Denise. No, she literally took Khalfani away and they went and got booed up on the couch. So let's just call a thing here. Adriana is not the person that she is trying to portray on this show. But y'all know Rashid is just eating up everything that Adriana is putting down. And unfortunately, he should have taken his own advice and just left. So we see Adriana and her dad. He's there so that the guys can meet him. And we happen to see both the guys' interactions with the dad at the same time. So I feel like both guys, they were answering the questions quite well. I mean, the only difference with their answers was that at one point, Khalfani ended up leaving because he had to go to a meeting, which I'm like, dude, no, you don't. But I'm going to let you rock with that. I do feel like her dad was honest when he told her that he saw more chemistry with Khalfani than he did with Rashid. Because, of course, she makes an effort with Khalfani. She never makes an effort with Rashid. She was just letting that man linger on just because. So Adriana finally lets Rashid go, which is what I have been waiting for. I just wish that she would have done this when there were other women still there for him to potentially date. Like, I'm sorry, but Adriana played this game this entire season and set that man up for failure. Because when we were first introduced to all of them, we knew that they had went on a date prior to them coming on this show and that she ghosted him then, right? Then they get here and she's like, oh, this could be a second chance for us. She got into that room with those ladies and was like, Rashid is my man. Therefore, out of respect for her, all of the ladies didn't really mess with Rashid like that. Because if you really think about back to the top of this show, once certain ladies claimed certain men, no other woman was talking to them out of respect for that woman. So when it got down to him, talking to Simone and talking to Alex, we were already at week 7, week 6 or something like that. So they didn't really get a chance to make a genuine connection like they should have at the beginning of the season. And now she dragged this man on for all this time. He's thinking that, I'm in the number one spot with her because she's in my number one spot. And he was not. He had moved out of the number one spot at least a good, 6, 7, 8 weeks ago? Like, she should have let him go a long time ago so that he could actually find a woman who wants him. But that's okay, because at the end of this, when it comes to who do I think will, find a relationship and find love, I definitely think that Rashid is going to be one of those people because he was a good catch. He was probably the only good catch on this season as far as the men go. So next we have a conversation with Winter and Anthony. And, she just basically wants to see where his head is. You know how she always likes to check in. And Anthony is basically telling her that, he can be really romantic. And once he's actually to the point of being in a committed relationship, he'll be there. And I'm like, girl, he is just feeding you lies. If you are in a relationship with Anthony, it's just going to be one long friendship. And sometimes y'all going to hook up with each other. Because I just don't see him committing. I'm sorry. So, she even asked him, well, it seems like, you have like this wall up. And he's like, yeah, because once I get to like a certain point, I basically put a wall up for a reason. Like, that's basically what he said. Like, he has his reasons to put a wall up. And I'm like, I'm sorry, just something about him just don't sit right with me. And also the fact that Winter is trying to convince us that she's actually interested in Anthony, it's bothering me. Because, like, let's call a thing here. Winter, she had a thing for Jay and she had a thing for Edwin at some point. Out of nowhere, Edwin dropped her like a bad habit. And like I said in my last review, I don't know when he dropped her, but he dropped her. And then you have, she was all interested in Jay. But as we know, Jay wanted Joy. And we all know that Winter has played second best to Joy this entire season because all the guys were interested in her. And then when it comes to Anthony, she was still second best because Denise was his number one girl. So she has been player number 2 this entire season. And even Anthony was Denise's number 2. So them trying to get together and make it seem like, oh yeah, I can see myself being in a relationship with you. Like, no, I'm not buying it. I can't wait till the reunion at this point because I just don't see it for either of these couples. So this episode ends with Winter waiting for Anthony, and he finally decides to show up. And he's just telling her that, he feels like he's going to be ready to love and blase blah. And then we have Adriana waiting on Calfani, and he shows up. And, whatever. I am over this season. I'm actually kind of glad that this season is over. I'm ready for the reunion, though. I feel like the reunion is going to be very interesting. If I was to say which season I like the most, I like last season. I'm still not over that drama with Mario and Riva and Tandy, just because they were so trifling. But overall, I feel like this season could have been better. I don't know if it was because they were on the resort or if it's just that this group, they were not really there for finding love. I'm not sure what it was about this season, but hopefully the next season will be even better. I think I want to make another video about this show before the reunion happens, just on who I think should have gotten together and just my overall opinion of how the show could be better. That might happen before the reunion happens. So let me go ahead and get off of here. Go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.